Good wishes, dear students. We are moving on to the second chapter in your physical chemistry sections, that is chemical kinetics. The word kinetics meaning movement. So when we say chemical kinetics, we talk about the movement of the chemicals within a given reaction. So the study of chemical kinetics gives us two main types of knowledge. The first one, we come to know the rate of a reaction or a speed of a reaction. The second type of knowledge we get from there is mechanisms of a chemical species involved in the reaction. Chemical species stands for both in terms of reactants and products. Mechanisms, when we say the actual work taking place within the reactants and within the products. The same concept also can be understood in a little more simplified manner as we come to know how fast a reaction takes place, meaning we understand the rate of a reaction or a speed of a reaction. The second concept is it helps us to know what happens between the initial and final stage of the reaction. Initial stage when we say the mechanisms involved in the reactants. Final stage when you say the mechanisms involved in the product side. So to understand the concept of rate of a reaction and the type mechanism involved in the chemical species, we need the help of certain conditions or parameters. They are pressures, concentration and the temperature. Now speed or a rate is calculated as a change in particular variable per a unit time. The concept of speed or a rate is studied both in terms of physics as well as in terms of chemistry. But only the word that we use, the term that we use is a different one. Now speed, when we say, you will remember the formula that you have learnt it in the lower classes. Speed is equals to distance travelled by time. In physics, speed stands for velocity. What's the definition for a velocity? Displacement of the particle per unit time gives rise to velocity. Now we're coming back to chemistry way of understanding the speed or the rate is known as a rate of the reaction. So here, change in concentration of a chemical species involved in the reaction. In terms of velocity, priority is given for the displacement of the particle, that is a distance travelled. In terms of chemistry, changes in the concentration of the chemical species. We have taken a general example of a reaction in which a reactant A gives the product B. So from this reaction, we can calculate the concentration of the reactant, concentration of the product with respect to time. So as usual, I have plotted in terms of distinguish to understand the concept of the concentration of the reactant and the concentration of the product. If you look at these two type of graph, here on the reactant side you see I have taken the two parameters, concentrations versus time. Why are we considering these two parameters? Because rate of the reaction is calculated as a change in concentration of a chemical species at a regular interval or with regard to time here. That's the reason we have taken concentration on the y-axis, time on the x-axis. Similarly, for the product side too, concentration on the x-axis and time on the y-axis, because rate is calculated as a change in concentration with respect to time. Now if you look at the two types of graph, on the reactant side you see the graph is coming down almost reaching up to 0. On the product side you see from 0 the graph goes up. So meaning always, no matter whatever type of reaction we consider, on the reactant side there will be a decrease in the concentration. On the product side there will be an increase in concentration. These are the only two concepts you need to remember. So reactant, when you say there is a decrease in the concentration. Product, when we say there is increase in the concentration. Coming back to the terms that I have written it as a C1, C2, T1, T2. Now if you consider for a particular reaction, at this particular point, the concentration is C1. Now the time appropriate for the C1 is T1. As the time proceeds, the concentration keeps decreasing. So after a certain time, at the time of T2, the concentration is C2 here. So what's the conclusion? As the time limit increases, concentration keeps decreasing. So in case of this one, concentration of C1 is greater and concentration of C2 is smaller. Coming back to here. Now the same concept I have taken here. So C1, time appropriate for C1 is T1 and the time relevant for the C2 is T2. So C1 stands for initial concentration. C2 stands for final concentration. So in this case, final concentration is greater than the initial concentration. In terms of reactant, initial concentration is greater than the final concentration. Let me take a draw the graph to make the points clear. So that same type of reaction I have taken, reactant A giving us the product B. Imagine, as I told you, on the reactant side there will be always decrease in the concentration for a spontaneous reaction. On the product side, there will be increase in the concentration. So if we just imagine for a particular reaction, the reactant's concentration is decreasing. On the product side, the concentration is increasing. Let me give you a very practical example. I am taking a sugar crystals, dissolving it in the water. So initially, the concentration of the sugar will be greater. The water will be tasteless. The concentration of the water will be less. But as the sugar crystal keeps dissolving it into the water, concentration of the sugar will decrease, concentration of the water will increase. So here the sweetness of the water will be increasing as the sugar crystal gets dissolved more and more into the water. So that's the term I have written it. On the reactant side, no matter whatever type of reaction, for the spontaneous reaction, there should be decrease in the concentration. On the product side, there should be an increase in the concentration. If you imagine, for example, this to be the initial concentration C1. So the time relevant for C1 is, just imagine, to be T1. Now after some time when we calculate this to be concentration C2, a final concentration, the time relevant will be T2 here. So this is the meaning I told you when I said concentration at a C1 is greater than concentration at A2. If you look at in terms of number, C1 concentration is 4. C2 concentration is 2. So between this, which one is greater? C1 is greater. So therefore we say concentration of C1 is greater than concentration of C2. That is, initial concentration is greater than final concentration in terms of the reactant. Coming back to the product side. Now if I calculate this to be the initial concentration, the time limit you take it to be T1 here. Just to calculate the concentration here, consider this to be C1 and here to be C2. The time relevant for this will be T2 here. If you look at in terms of number, C1 time is 1, C2 value is 4. Which one is greater? Naturally 4 is greater. So here in terms of the product, final concentration is greater than the initial concentration. I hope I'm making my points clear. This is the only concept you need to know to understand the whole concept involved in the chemical kinetics. So for a spontaneous reaction, on the reactant side, there will be decrease in the concentration. On the product side, there will be increase in the concentration. So unless reactant loses its concentration, it's not possible for the increase in the concentration on the product side. So here initial concentration is greater, here final concentration is greater. The same concept I have explained in terms of A2 is less than A1, meaning A1 stands for initial concentration, A2 stands for final concentration. Coming back to on the product side, B2 stands for final concentration, B1 stands for initial concentration. Now so we understand how to understand the change in concentration with respect to time. Moving on to calculating the rate of the reactant. Now what's the formula for the rate of the reactant? That is change in concentration of the reactant. Looking at the graph, you will understand change in concentration of the reactant by change in time. So C1 is relevant to T1, C2 is relevant to T2. So change in concentration with respect to change in time interval. So that's the formula I have written. Rate of the reactant, so A stands for reactant. Rate of the reactant is equals to change in concentration of the reactant by change in time. What's the easy way of remembering for you? Disappearance of A. What is the meaning of disappearance of A? Stands for the concentration of the reactant keeps decreasing continuously. That's the meaning of disappearance of A. You can see a minus sign inserted here. When we talk about the rate concept, minus sign will be included on the reactant side. The meaning of minus sign here is there is a decrease in the concentration on the reactant side. Moving on to the rate of the product B. This is rate of the reactant. This is rate of the product. Here also change in concentration of the product. Here we used the word reactant. Here we are using the word product. So change in concentration of the product by change in time. The same concept here. So change in concentration when we say C1 and C2. Time limit will be between the T2 and T1. So if we substitute, here we are talking about a disappearance of A, that is a decrease in the concentration. Here we are talking about appearance of B, that is increase in the concentration. So on the reactant side, concentration is decreasing. On the product side, concentration is increasing. Write it in terms of formula. Therefore, rate of reactant is equals to minus C2 minus C1 by T2 minus T1. What does minus sign stands for? Decrease in the concentration of the reactant. So, when we express it in terms of differentiation, minus dA by dt. Remember, rate when we say reactant should be written always within the square bracket. Similarly, coming back to rate of the product is equals to C2 minus C1 by T2 minus T1. In terms of differentiation, dB by dt. So all you have to remember on the reactant side, disappearance of A stands for decrease in the concentration. On the product side, appearance of B stands for increase in the concentration. Minus sign depicts the steady decrease in the concentration. Moving on to few definitions involved in the chapter. Unit of rate of a reaction can be calculated as a unit of concentration by unit of time. So unit of concentration is expressed in terms of a number of moles per liter. So the unit will be moles per liter in terms of the unit of concentration is expressed in terms of moles per liter. Unit of time is taken as a seconds or a minutes or hours, what can be taken. Depending on whatever unit we are taking, we have a calculation, numerical sums working on it. So to explain to you what's the formula we have taken? Unit rate is equals to unit of a concentration. Concentration is expressed as a moles per liter. So concentration when we say that is mole per liter. Divided by unit of time. So we have taken it to be in seconds here. So if we take both the terms to the numerator, we get it mole, liter inverse and a second inverse. Now if the time limit is taken as a second inverse, seconds, we can take it as a second inverse. Minute, you can take it as a minute or an hour. Depending on the time limit that we are taking, the units of time can be changed here. Suppose if we consider the unit of a rate reaction a gaseous phase, so concentration of a gaseous phase species is expressed in terms of partial pressure. So the unit here will be atmosphere per second inverse. So we will see in the next class the continuation of the topic. Thank you.